So there's some interesting things that's going to be jumping off this week, the last week in September. And as you know, that this month has been overseen by the Soul Archetype that we reference as the Soul Protector, which is a masculine energy. What is pretty interesting this month is that it's really encouraging us to really, take initiative, take risk, but take mindful risk, right? But this last week is very interesting because we know that the full moon is going to be taking position, and we begin to look at the energy position. That's what's unique about the living soul guidance system. Is we look at the energy positions to kind of give us some insight on what can be forecasted energetically. So that's what I really want to do today, as it speaks to the last week in September. 'Cause I feel like there's some things that can kind of help us understand and maybe expect or know how to adjust when certain things present itself. And so what's interesting, we use a energetic footprint matrix, and it kind of highlights and shows us which gender energy position is more dominant, versus the other, which one's equally or balancing out, and so forth. It basically is measuring the imprint that it makes. Like when you walk inside a room, what do people feel after you leave the room? So that's that energetic footprint that I'm referring to. And so this week, the energetic footprint is showing very strong with a lot of masculine energy, and its masculine energy is also showing strong in the positions that it takes, and dominance and neutral. And so this week is very highly charged with a lot of energy available to really make some things happen, to start things, to complete things. You just got extra just inner motivation. Say, for example, you just want to start, you might have a burst of energy just to kind of be working out, to go walk or to go run, or different things. It's just a lot of energy just really available. Just there's a lot of amping. Now with that, a lot of amping in the energy, when I begin to look at this week, I begin to look at the soul position basic measurement, and we begin to see things fall in line with what we call a zero ebb. And the zero ebb is showing, we have a couple conjunctions that's showing up this week. We see at least twice this week, we see that the soul protector is in conjunction, which means that energy is highly amplified. But then we also see another soul archetype that's in conjunction, and that is the soul initiator. And so that is a conjunction. So that energy is amped. And both of these energies are both masculine energies. The soul initiator is a masculine dominant energy, and the soul protector is a masculine neutral energy. And also during the whole week, there's other energies that are, mixed into the mix, but these jump out. And it's interesting to see that these, from the zero ebb point of view in the soul position, that they are in conjunction, which means there's a lot of amplification of this energy, which expresses why everything is just, just ready, ready to pull and draw. So how does that really affect us? Okay, first of all, I want to share those that really can partake and take advantage of this energy. I mean, anyone can, but of course, some that are not properly aligned may feel more challenged, and some might feel more at advantage because their alignment, their energetic profile aligns, which really makes some things happen. So with a lot of this overcharging of energy and so forth, those that pretty much have a decent neutral position are going to be able to really maximize and to begin to execute, deliver, or whatever is required to do, or also deal with the challenges due to the over amplification of the energy that's present. Okay. And also those that share in a level of dominant position are going to be, fare very well. Now, it's going to probably challenge and maybe feel very comfortable among those that have a lot of feminine energy in their energetic profile with a lot of submission. Okay, or people are absent of neutral position. Okay, so if you're absent neutral position and you really are scoring low in the submissive position, and you find yourself really locked a lot inside the feminine, gender energy position, you're probably going to feel a lot of challenging and be kind of uncomfortable. Now, if you feel like you have a lot of feminine energy, the thing that might help you out is if you have some androgynous energy mixed into your energetic profile. So, um, those that really don't match the masculine amplification, you know, if you have some androgynous representation, it's going to help you be able to navigate through that and to balance that or take advantage of it, so it can kind of just flow, flow with it, for this week. So let me just talk about some of the things from this energy being over amplified. First of all, is the forces that are at present, that are at play, are coming from the principle of cause and effect and from the principle of mentalism as it begins to affect us. It affects the intellect and is also affecting the volitional aspect of ourselves, or the willpower. So there's a lot of amplification of the willpower and also working in conjunction with being able to focus in on the logical part of our mind and stuff like that. So that's really at the forefront. Now, what's also happening from that is bring about certain effects. All right. So first, you got all this energy available to make some things happen, but also what's happening is that can affect. We're gonna feel this week. We're gonna see a lot of psychological tension, because what's happening inside the energetic footprint matrix, where this tension is gonna come from, where we're gonna see low empathy, where we're gonna see people being overly responsive, where people feel very pressured by the environments they're in, where you see people just overly competitive. Where we're going to see all that's going to come from, primarily from the environment and from the communication and thinking. So the two different squares inside the matrix is highlighting, showing a lot of this challenging that we might feel, where you might be witnessing low empathy, forceful conflicts. There's a lot of force available. So, and there's a lot of force. We can see violent outbreaks. We can see a lot of people challenging, really ready to get at each other. And so forth. If you really do not have some neutral position or androgynous representation, to kind of balance that out. So if you're strictly all straight in the masculine, all straight in the dominant, there's going to be some forceful conflicts that's probably going to come. You might see it. You might see people start, and you're going to see a lot going to come through words, right? A lot of misunderstanding probably going to happen during this week, simply because people are caught up in trying to match wit for wit, and not really trying to hear from a neutral space. This is why we need the neutral. The neutral position is available, but it comes down to what's our energetic makeup, or what our self-discipline allow us to be able to step back and, to kind of pay attention. So a lot's going to be driven through words, triggering through words. People's going to, people that's really going to feel uneasy during this time is people that wrestle with setting boundaries for themselves. People that have a hard time trying to advocate their own interests, and people that really shares in, low esteem. This week is really for people that's really got a lot of confidence, really high esteem, and they're really trying to go ahead and get after it. So the challenge is really going to feel from those that's kind of on the other side of the spectrum. Like I said, the intellect and will is very center focused in terms of reference of the division within ourselves. There's going to be a lot of suffocating feel, and that suffocating feel is going to wrap around the intuition. So a lot of us that are very intuitive during this week might feel like it's really hard to kind of tap into that intuitive flow, or and really draw that level of inspiration that we might be kind of used to, or might have ease to doing. And the reason why is because the soul position that's where the opposition will show up at. Okay, also. And so then also those that are very pleasure oriented, it's going to probably be at conflict. So if during this week, if people are more pleasure oriented or pleasure centered, they're probably going to be highly prone to be coming across a lot of forceful conflicts, a lot of war of words, and definitely a lot of psychological tension this week. So the thing is like I said, the good side is, there's a lot of energy available to tap in and try to make things happen and come to complete as we begin to fade out, from this month and move into the next month. But in the midst of your interactions, just pay attention to what's going on inside our environment, because words charge environments and also the morale. is very important. So this is really a time to kind of just really focus in on the vibe that you're kind of in, and also just when you see people a little more edgy, for you to make sure you get into a patient and understanding space, so that way you can allow people to kind of just get off with that. Just understand the energy is just high, and things are really amped, and people are just a little more on edge than usual, and that's fine. We go through that times, but just try to make sure you don't match that, so that way you don't get yourself falling into a forceful conflict.